Alright, so about 2 weeks ago we got the reveal of the Warlock, with all the skills, passives, and gameplay details. This week, we got to look at the Falconer, the third mastery for the Rogue class, and the final mastery coming to the game that we currently know about. It's bittersweet to finally have the details on the last mastery. Of course, we know about the Falconer now and how badass the gameplay looks, but we won't get another mastery reveal for the foreseeable future. But I digress. Today we look at the Falconer in all its avian glory, and I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't too hyped for this class fantasy. It's a cool concept, but I'm more of a big bad melee bruiser or powerful spellcaster type. But then, I saw the gameplay released on Maxroll and the reveal video by Zizaran. First of all, what a great reveal video, getting the whole Maxroll team involved, talking about the Falconer gameplay and some builds that they'll recommend. I suggest watching it. It's not that long and fairly entertaining, especially the IRL Falcon bit by Ziz. That's top tier content creation right there. But most importantly, the Falconer looks insane. The gameplay of the Falconer is super fast-paced, and all the skills look powerful. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. This is a mastery for the Rogue class, and both the Marksman and Blade Dancer have extremely fast-paced, hectic gameplay, so it's only logical that the Falconer would too. So let's dive into it. What is the Falconer? Well, it's a rogue, but with a bird. That's basically it. The official description is much better though. It says, "Never fight fair, never fight alone. A master tactician who relies on devious traps and her fearsome falcon to eviscerate her enemies. Luring prey into her ambush, she survives through quick wits, unscrupulous tactics, and the unwavering bond with her avian ally." Now if you watched my class guide or my Warlock reveal video, you know I'm a sucker for a good description, and this one is pretty damn good. It sounds badass and all, but really I'm just applauding their use of unscrupulous. Like, that's a high IQ word. I actually had to look it up and remind myself what it meant. Anyway, it seems like the Falconer is going to be similar to many Ranger classes in other RPGs, at least in the class fantasy area. You can choose to fight alongside your bird companion, boost your ballista damage, or forget the minions and use powerful damaging traps instead. Of course, you can also mix and match all three if you want. That's the beauty of ARPGs and making your own build. By choosing the Falconer Mastery, you automatically get a +12 bonus to your dexterity, and your Falcon companion receives +1 Falcon melee damage per 4 dexterity. Plenty of nodes on the passive skill tree also scale your Falcon's usefulness with your dexterity, so this may mean that straight dexterity modifiers will be even more important for Falcon builds than usual. You also get access to the Falconry skill, which you need to have on your skill bar in order to summon your Falcon. The Falcon will passively attack enemies around you, and when you activate the skill, the Falcon will do a series of attacks, tearing through any enemies caught in the area. The skill tree gives you a bunch of synergy with other skills. The one shown in the gameplay video is the Falcon's ability to throw acid flasks if you take Toxic Airdrop. You can also buff the Falcon's passive attack damage and give your Falcon attacks a chance to proc ailments and other buffs for you. If you take the Dark Plumage node, your Falcon attacks have a 1 in 5 chance to drop a Black Arrow, which is from the Dark Quiver skill. Picking up a Black Arrow can give you a ton of benefits if you spec into the Dark Quiver skill, but even if you don't, you can still get a 100% increase to damage on your next bow attack. As the Falconer, you get access to a couple of Falcon-specific skills that you can use and specialize in. These two skills require that you have the Falcon on your active skill bar, so I would consider them supplementary minion skills instead of skills that you can use yourself. The first one is Aerial Assault. This is a Falconer-specific movement skill where your Falcon catches you mid-jump and carries you a bit before unleashing a storm of feathers at your landing location. I personally think this looks super cool, like the visual of it, but again, what really interests me about this class is how quick all of these skills are. The gameplay using Aerial Assault is super fast, low cooldown, attacks happening all around you. It's exciting. The Aerial Assault skill can also be specialized in a ton of ways, mostly buffing that wing burst at the end of the skill. You can make that wing burst last longer by speccing into the Featherstorm node. The Falcon will just stay up in the air shooting feathers at the target area for a short duration. There's also a synergy with Umbral Blades and Shadow Daggers, which if you don't know, Shadow Daggers is a skill that deals an absurd amount of damage on reaching a certain number of Shadow Dagger stacks. Dive Bomb is the second Falcon-related skill, and it is exactly what it sounds like. The Falcon flies up high in the air and then crashes down at the target location. It's incredibly fast, the impact looks sick, and I hope your Falcon uses those little Falcon helmets, cause damn, that looks painful. One of the showcased ways to specialize Dive Bomb is to take the Incendiary Collision Bird Missile node, which allows you to explode your decoys if you target it with your bird's Dive Bomb. Pretty cool synergy there if you really buff that explosion damage for decoy. But I actually think one of the cool nodes to look out for, which I hope works out for melee dual wielders, is the Talon Knives node, which buffs your Dive Bomb's damage with the damage-specific stats from your weapons. This could potentially mean some pretty good scaling if you're dual wielding melee, running around the map telling your bird to Dive Bomb over and over and over again. Next up is Explosive Trap. This is a trap that explodes when triggered. Shocker, I know, you would never get that from the name of the skill. It's a really quick set and trigger, so you don't have to wait too long for the trap to explode, but it's not immediately obviously, and it requires the enemy to walk over the trap to trigger. But if you feel like waiting 0.4 seconds for the trap to explode is just too damn long, you can spec into this blast rain node, which now shoots the traps up into the air and has them explode on impact at the target location. Though you do have to wait for the arrows to reach the location, which I think is close to 0.4 seconds, so yeah, never mind. Be patient, you trap madman. Other nodes on the tree will change the damage of the explosion to cold or lightning damage. You can take a node to throw an acid flask at the location as well. You can take a node to buff your Falcon's damage, and one that I think is cool, you can take a node that'll attach an explosive trap to an enemy that you've damaged with your melee attacks, like a sticky bomb or something. Last but not least, we have Net, and you'll never guess what this is. It's a skill where you throw a net. Jokes aside, the implementation of this is actually pretty solid. The basic use for this is to slow your enemies and efficiently spread ailments. It can also give you a number of buffs or debuff enemies so you can guarantee hits and increase crit chance. You also leap when using this ability, and you can buff that leap to be a pretty useful traversal skill, which is kind of cool because this is the second potential traversal skill that the Falconer has, along with the aerial assault skill. So kind of fitting for the jump in, jump out, always on the move gameplay of the rogue. That's basically it for Net though. It's an extremely useful tool to supplement other skills in your build. I would think this is a great option for survivability, in case you don't want to use Smoke Bomb or Decoy. And that's it. That's the Falconer. Compared to the Warlock, the Falconer mechanics are fairly simple, but I feel like the Falconer's gameplay speaks for itself. Stay quick, stay moving, and you have plenty of ways to excel in both melee and bow attacks. You can buff your Falcon and Falcon's skills, buff all minion damage to synergize your Falcon with the Ballista skill, or you can just say screw the Falcon, I want to use traps and buff my throwing damage to the absolute max. For me, I think I'll have a tough time choosing not to use the Falcon. I think the idea of running around the map, dual-wielding melee weapons, calling my Falcon companion for some sick combos, like this is peak gameplay for me, but I'll probably see what Explosive Trap has to offer. I think generally the Explosive Trap gameplay has some great synergies with other skills that would make it extremely powerful. Whatever you choose, I think it's safe to say that the class design is pretty exciting here. I know we still need to get our hands on the Warlock and Falconer, but man, it seems like the Rune Master, Warlock, and Falconer are all shaping up to be the most well-designed classes in the game, which makes me extremely excited for what's coming to classes in the future. I know they're looking to change up the Shaman, which is my favorite mastery in terms of class fantasy, so I can't wait to see what they do. But of course, I'll leave the rest up to you all. Please let me know in the comments what you think about the Falconer, its skills, and whether or not you like the idea of fighting with your bird pal. A quick reminder that the 1.0 release is coming out pretty soon on February 21st, and if you want to purchase Last Epoch or upgrade your game version to get some cool cosmetics and other stuff, you can use my nexus.gg link in the description or on my channel page to do so while supporting the channel. If you don't want to support the channel, that's okay. The link to the official Last Epoch pre-order site is in the description as well. I will not hold it against you. But most importantly, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you liked it, and subscribe for more Last Epoch content and more. I hope you enjoy your adventures with your Falcon buddy, and I can't wait to see what we talk about next.